everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at all of the oversized healthy powders. I have all three of the bronzers in light, medium, and deep. We're just going to talk about the differences, and then I'm going to show you the highlighting powders that came out in tender pink and soft peach. They are not available in the United States. I don't know if they're coming to the United States. So if you're in the US with me, you have to get them overseas. If you're interested in how to get them, let me know and I can give you details about how to purchase them. But you know, it's been odd this last year. Some products have just like either just been available in certain countries, some have come out in certain countries and then in the US later, vice versa. So I don't know. But I'll show you what they look like, and if you're really interested in them, you know, I can show you how to order them. So on my face today, I have some foundation, and my brows are done. That's it, and my Meal Cordon lip balm, which I always, always wear. By the way, I'm going to be doing a lot of giveaways next month or so, different kinds. I know for a lot of us, inflation, gas costs, all these things, things are becoming very difficult for a lot of people, and even looking at like the Nordstrom sale, the things that I bought in previous years have actually jumped up quite a bit in price. So I thought maybe like a nice little thing to do would to have some giveaways. So I'm going to be doing a Meal Cordon giveaway. They were kind enough to work with me on that one. So that'll be announcing soon. I'm going to have a whole bunch of Tom Ford things, and then I'm going to have something else that I will talk about later. So stay tuned for that. All right, so let's get into the oversized powders. So you've seen me talk about these. These are all 18 months shelf life, and they're all 0.53 ounces. And the highlighters look exactly like the bronzers. That is the deep. Here is the medium. And here is the light. I will swatch them all next to each other, and then I will put them on my face. I will put all of them on my face so that you can see how they look on somebody who has very pale skin. All right, and then the highlighters, again, look exactly the same. They are 18 months, 0.53 ounces. This is the soft peach. And then this is the tender pink. Okay, let's start with the bronzers. So I'll swatch them all. I'm gonna do it on my hand because I actually think I can build it up on my hand and you can kind of see what the shade is. When I put it on my arm, sometimes it's hard to see it. Okay, so here's the light, here's the medium, and here's the deep. What I would say is the light is the warmest of the bronzers. The medium is a little bit cooler, and the deep is definitely cool. And I've worn the deep on my eyes a bunch of times, and I really, really like it. The medium, I think, works best when I'm looking for something that's a little bit more, like more of a bronzy look. And the light is good for me when I'm looking for something that looks natural, like how I might actually tan. I would also say, though, it is warm, and I prefer a cooler leaning bronzer. So I like the medium a little bit more because I feel like the coolness actually looks better on me, but the light does look, quote, more natural. Okay, so my hair is back. Let's start like putting this on the face so I can show you sort of how each one looks. I think the best way to do this is in like small amounts. So hold on a second. Okay, so let's start with the light. We're gonna take a smaller brush, like a fan brush. This is the Sonia G Sculpt, I think the Sculpt 4. Yeah, Sculpt 4 brush. So it's a little bit narrower, and I'm just gonna show you what the light looks like just by itself. And I'm gonna do like a line. Can you see that? So that way you can see what the light looks like on my skin tone. So you can see it's definitely warmer than what I usually, if you watch my channel, what I usually like in a bronzer. I do like a cooler bronzer, even though it gets confusing because the contours I like, obviously a contour needs to be cooler too. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this shade. I actually have been wearing it and I think it looks quite nice, but I wish that they would have lighter shades that were also cool. Like Gucci has one that it's more like the medium, but it's got a cool tone. So I wish there was a really, really light bronzer that was also cool. I don't see that very often because what happens is it ends up starting to look like a contour and it looks like a mushroom shade. That's the problem. So I know it's difficult to do. So here's the medium, and I'm gonna put the medium like right underneath that. And you can see when I do the medium, how much cooler it is than the light. Okay, then I'm gonna take the deep shade, which is, I think, the coolest shade, but of course also the deepest. You can see how deep that shade is. So the light one in the middle is the warmest, and I think obviously the most, quote, natural in what way I would tan on my face, if I actually did tan. But the medium and the deep have a much cooler tone, which I actually like. So the formula in all of these, though, is phenomenal. It is my favorite new bronzer. I have to say, the Gucci is like 1A. Chanel is number 1. I just wish we could get like this shade intensity with the coolness. I understand there might be problems. It might look more like contour, which is what happened with the Charlotte Tilbury cream, the lightest one. It looks more like contour to me than it does bronzer. But anyway, but I have to say, I'm absolutely loving the Chanel bronzers. They are a fabulous addition to my collection, which is why I bought them in all 3 shades. Now I'm just gonna take these and kind of blend them together. Okay, so that's them all kind of blended in. I think you can see that, you know, I can wear even the deepest shade. It's just that it is deep for me. I have to just go in very lightly with it, but I really do feel like the coolness is really beautiful. So that's why I lean towards the medium shade. It's not like I don't like the light. I do like the light. It's that I just feel like it's a little more warm leaning than I would like. But I still really like it on my skin, and I've worn it in a couple of videos and everyone has said how much they like it on me. So I think it's a preference thing. But the product itself and the formula, outstanding. Honestly, I would encourage you guys to pick these up because they are limited edition. I know they're expensive. I get it. They are half an ounce though, so I think these will last you a long time, or at least I hope they will last you a long time. All right, so now let's get to the highlighters. And I'm going to put these on my hand as well so you guys can see them. Let's do the Tender Pink. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this. They're really light. I'll do my best. I mean, they show up a little, but not a lot because they're really light. Okay, let's see if the camera can get this. That's the Tender Pink, and this one is the Soft Peach. Tender Pink, Soft Peach. I don't know how well you can actually see that. Okay, let's try, and we'll use that same Sculpt 4 brush so we can be very precise in how this looks. Let's take the Tender Pink. No, I'm sorry, Tender Pink? Tender Pink. And let's just try it on the face and see what happens. Okay, it's very subtle, like really, really subtle, which is not necessarily a bad thing because it's Chanel and that's not a huge shock. All right, so that's the Tender Pink. I'm gonna try to build it up a little bit so you guys can see it a little better on camera. It might look a little funny on me, but you know, yeah, you can see it a little bit better. All right, now let's try on the other side, the Soft Peach. So what I'd say about these, looking at these right now, I think these are more of a, now the peach, Soft Peach is got more pigment to it. So if you have a deeper skin tone, I would go with the Soft Peach because I think there's more there's more intensity there. The pink, the Tender Pink is much lighter. So there's the pink. Here's the peach. You can see it almost looks like a little bit of a blush on me. I think if you used the peach as almost like an all over glow, I think that would work because I think it would warm up the skin a little bit. Whereas the tender pink, I think would blend with your skin more. So let's try it. Let's see what happens. Let's use the tender pink on this side. I'm going to use my La Mer very fluffy brush. Yeah, I think it gives a little bit of luminosity to the skin. It didn't really impart any color though, which is fine. I mean, that's kind of what I would expect from that shade. The peach, I think, is going to warm up my skin a little bit. Yeah, like the tiniest bit. It's not like you can see it drastically, but you see what I mean? Like this side of my face looks like a little bit warmer than this side of my face. It's very light. So I would say I would use these as either, I'm going to take a little bit of the peach to kind of even this out. I would take the peach as a very, very subtle all over glow that warms up your skin. And I would take the tender pink and use it as an all over glow for like somebody who has a lighter skin tone like mine, as an all over glow that wouldn't really be noticed. It would just be very subtle. Or I would try to build it up as like a highlighter. You can see there's a little bit of gleam there. It's just very subtle. The peach has more intensity. But they both look really nice. I'm looking in the 10X mirror and it does not look like I have powder on my face because it is so finely milled. It's like the it's like the bronzers. Beautiful formula. It just blends right in. So if you're looking for a very subtle highlighter or an all over glow product, these are great. But if you're looking for something that's going to have intensity, you're not going to get it from these. Again, here's the pink and the peach. All right, so I am going to do an eye look for another video, and then I'll be back and we'll finish out just final thoughts. Okay, so eye looks are on. They're actually two different eyeshadow quads. I don't know if you can really tell because they have similar color stories. And I have Painterly from Lisa Eldridge on my lips. She recently came out with some new shades. I picked up 3 of them, and she re-released some shades that were sold out. So this is Painterly. It's a really nice shade. It's like a, I'd say it's like almost like a rosewood, and it is sheer, but you can build it. It's a nice formula. So I love Lisa Eldridge and all her products. So what I would say about the bronzers, like how to pick what shade you want to pick up. If you're very, very pale, paler than me even, the light is probably the best choice just because it'll warm up your skin tone and it will look, quote, natural as a bronzer. The medium is also a good choice though because it works fine on me. Just don't go super heavy-handed with it. Unless, of course, you want to, which is, again, fine. The deep is too deep for me with my skin intensity, but I love it on my eyes, and sometimes I use it just a little bit as like a contour, actually, and then I use the medium as like bronzer. I know it sounds funny, but because it's so much of a cooler shade, it actually looks fine, and as long as I'm careful with it and I don't use too much of it, it works great. What I usually do is I go in with a like a soft contour brush with the deep and just sort of stamp it a little bit and then like buff it in, and it looks really good. So you can really get away with all 3 shades because they're buildable. They're so finely milled. Honestly, they blend right into the skin. They look fantastic. If you haven't watched me before, I'm 50 years old. I have dry skin. The formula of these is excellent. The highlighting powders, I'd say the same. Formula is amazing. It's just like the bronzers. And I have the powders now all over my face. You saw me put them all over. It doesn't look like I have a ton of powder on my face, which is nice. It actually looks basically the same. But what I would say is, as a highlighter, it's a very subtle highlight if you're choosing the pink. And it's a very subtle highlight if you're using the peach, but I think the peach has more shade to it. So if you are a deeper skin tone, I think you're going to want to look at the peach because I think the pink might not even show up. I mean, I don't know. It's very light. It's very subtle. I think it works really well for an all-over subtle glow. And I think it'll work for those of you who like a very subtle highlight. I do. Like, especially in the summer when I'm just not doing much of anything. I could see me putting on like that pink just to get a subtle highlight and a little bit of bronzer and a little bit of mascara and some lip gloss and be like, okay, you know, when I'm actually trying to do a look, compared to the most days where I'm just like, it's too hot, I can't wear any makeup. And in the winter, I think they'll work really well too, because again, I am so pale, I think they'll show up and I think they'll look nice. But I just think they're a very, very subtle product. And I want to make that very clear. I don't want anyone to buy these or look for them, because you can't, like I said, you can't get them in the US. And I think that it's a real highlighter. I would not call these highlighters. I would call these like glow powders. That would just be, which is what they're called actually. They are called healthy glow highlighting powders. But I don't even think I would use highlighting, because I just, yes, there's a subtle glow there, but I don't know if it's a highlighter. Again, I think it looks really nice on me and on my skin tone, but I like a really subtle look. So if you're not into that, it's a lot of money to pay for something that's gonna look very, very subtle. Just my 2 cents. All right, I think that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you in another video really soon. Bye.